Rather than purchasing a tailor's ham, I'm going to go through the process of making your own. You can save a lot of money this way, and you get a chance to try out some sewing pattern techniques on a real basic level. You'll need a piece of paper about 16 inches by 12 minimum. So I'm going to be drawing with a Sharpie. Obviously a pencil will work fine, but I want you to be able to see the lines as I create them. So the first thing, we want to create a line that's 15 inches long. And then we want to make marks at 2 inches from the top, 5 inches from the top, 8 inches, 10 inches, and 12 inches. We're going to make a mark off of our 2-inch line at 4 inches, our 5-inch line at 5 inches, our 8-inch line at 4.5 inches, our 10-inch line at 4 inches, and our 12-inch line at 3 1/4 inches. So now what we've done is created the basic shape for us to draw out of our ham. We're going for a curve. So this is half of our ham. So now we're going to cut this out. Typically hams are made out of muslin or wool. If you don't have any of those on hand, you want to use something, preferably a cotton, that's pretty heavy duty, and definitely don't use anything that can be scorched or melted, anything that has any plastic type fibers in it, because you're going to be using this with steam and with your iron, and you don't want everything to melt on you. I have some scraps here. I found a piece of wool that I can use, and here's some unbleached muslin and some bleached. So I want mine to be very sturdy, so I'm going to use 2 layers for the top and the bottom. So our pattern is half. So I folded the fabric over. And there's the wool. Now we have all our pieces. So this is going to be one side and this will be the other. So we'll say this is our good side of the back. So we put fronts together. And then we'll pin for sewing. We're going to leave an opening from here to here for stuffing. So pin all the other sides together for working at the sewing machine. You'll see that I backstitched at the end as well. And now I'm going to do it again because I want this extra strong, because I'm going to stuff it really full. Now that we've got our Tailor's ham all sewn up, what we want to do is trim the seam allowances a bit, and this is a good opportunity to show you what grading seam allowances is. And that would mean that we're going to trim the seam allowances, but each layer will be trimmed to a different length so they don't stack on top of each other and be bulky. Also, we want to clip the corners so that when we turn it right side out, that it doesn't do this. If you have a clip, then when you turn it, it releases and the edges on the corners will be much nicer. We'll trim the other ones, the front two, and I'm just going to trim not quite as short. And now you see that the two are not exactly the same, so they don't stack on top of each other. Reduces the bulk. It's not super important for this project, but I wanted to give you a quick demonstration of what grading was. And you want to get pretty close to the stitching line, but don't cut your stitching. Okay, I think we're ready to turn this right side out. And since this opening was backstitched on either side, we're not ripping it open. And there we go. There's our ham. We're all ready to fill it with some stuffing now. So I've decided that I'm going to use old t-shirts to stuff mine with. So here's an old t-shirt, and I'm going to cut the collars off because I think that's just a little too much. And I don't want the tag either. This has got a graphic on it, and I don't really think that's a great idea either, because there's going to be a lot of heat applied to the Tailor's ham, so we don't want anything that could melt. I'm cutting fairly large pieces because if I need them smaller, I can always do that as we go along. I cut up a few others off camera, so I should have a pretty big pile now. So we just start putting them in. Okay, I think this is pretty good. As you can see, you can get an awful lot in here. I think there's 6 or 7 t-shirts in here. The next thing we'll do is whip this closed. But you saw me pressing it out, just working with the bumps, and they will soften down and smooth out over time. But you can tell that it's very tight and it's very hard, and that's what you want. So stuff as much as you possibly can in there. And next we'll work on sewing this seam up. Right, the trick with this is to be turning that 1/2 inch in and bringing the ends together. So we're going to have to bring it together kind of as we sew. You normally don't stuff something this full with this dense of material, so this is a particular challenge. I threaded a needle here, and I am going to double the thread. So I brought it all the way through, and I've got 2 ends here. So to knot a double thread, it works the same way. Wrap it, roll it, squeeze. So there's our knot. And then kind of roll as we go. And I'm just whipping it closed. I'm not doing anything tricky here. So I'm just gonna knot the end. A couple times. And there we go. And now we can just work a little more material into that area. And there's our ham. With scrap materials and old t-shirts, we were able to create a good ham to use at the ironing board for just a little thread and a little time. Thank you for taking the time to watch our videos.
Please subscribe and you'll know when we get posting content. And hit the like button to encourage us to make more.
If you have ideas for future videos, please leave us a message in the comment section. A message?
Take care.
We'll see you next time.